One of the best compliments you can ever get when you've almost perfected a Pacific killer is when you get responses from people you go against, saying stuff like this.
Actually hit that. Oh, she's a little freak with these birds, bro. Look. She literally just picks it up and tosses it so quick. She's actually a little freak with the birds, bro. She launches these shits in 2 seconds. She just ups it and pow, just right at you. It's 2 seconds, bro. Anytime I play artists, it feels so sluggish trying to throw these birds, man.
Like that, no, I'm reporting this bitch for cheating because that was way too fucking fast. It was like click, basically, on her abilities. God! That's not how this killer works. That is not how the killer works. You cannot summon birds and then immediately summon more birds within a second. That is fucking ridiculous. It's like 10 seconds. That is ridiculous. I'm reporting that bitch. That is not how this thing works.
Now, you might be thinking after seeing those clips of the swarm shots that, oh, she doesn't seem that difficult. She seems like a killer everyone wants to play. However, the bearer of bad news, she is considered the 4th least picked killer in the game. Makes me think how rare of a breed I am to P100 her. Yes, that is correct. I am a P100 artist. I love Burb a lot. Burb is best burp. And I have put in half of my time playing Dead by Daylight into the artist because I love her that much. Now, if you click this video, you're most likely wanting to learn the ways of being a better burp player. Well, if you're fine with a trans furry fox telling you the secret burp techniques, then grab a notepad, get your tacos, and get comfortable. Here are 5 tips to being a better artist main. My first tip is if you're running Lethal Pursuer, don't throw your swarms instantly. Lethal Pursuer is a very popular perk, especially for early game to get information on where the survivors are going. Now, a lot of times that I sometimes will see other artists is to where they'll use Lethal Pursuer, they'll get the information and instantly throw the swarm where they're at. However, instead, wait until they start going to a gen. Why do I say that? If you don't know, one of the techs that you can do with the artist is when you set up your first swarm head, wait till the ability meter in the square box gets to the middle part on the right side, and then when you walk a little bit further, set up another swarm shot. What that will do is delay the first one you set, so that if you swarm the survivor with the second one you set, the first one, if it connects, will damage the survivor. You can do this with all 3 swarms too, by setting up 2 swarms next to each other, and then the third one being the one that's going to start to swarm. But, like I mentioned, it's highly recommended that if you do this, make sure you're not right next to the first one, and be a distance from it before setting up the second swarm. Plus, severed hands makes this even more deadly, especially if there's more than one on the gen. Having early game pressure doing something like this can affect how the rest of the game will go, but also will sometimes mess with the survivors, and the best part, paranoia them when working on a gen with another survivor. Like this reaction, for an example.
See, Brownie, I cuss a lot. Wow, this stupid bitch.
My second tip would not to always rely on the swarm impact when looping around pallet sections. Experienced survivors, when they see you set it up, will wait on the side of the pallet even the little corner bits, and bait out the swarm to kill more time and possibly lead up to you getting bonked on the head by a pallet. And I don't know about you, I don't like getting bonked on the head, but if you do see that they're trying to bait it out, instead of trying to rely on getting the M2 hit, instead of you getting bonked on the head, just give them a good old bonk on the head with your own M1. When you do this, a lot of times survivors will be less hesitant to wait at the loop and get all confuzzled on what to do in future loops. Because then what you can do is you can try to make certain positionings with the swarms at the pallets. Because then if you do that, and especially if you set up the swarms correctly, then you can get an impact. And possibly if they panic, then you can get the M1 hit. And it's a pretty nice little combo to do, and sometimes it does mess with survivors. Like this example.
So you just don't believe in throwing the bird? She literally puts it up for style. What the hell? Yo, she doesn't use her birds. Confusing.
My third tip is related to the second one. If you start to get survivors that can loop very well in areas, set up a swarm bait. Now, what do I mean by that? For example, if a survivor is playing around Shack a lot and is looping you a lot, set up a swarm head on an exit point, like a window, with the second one facing the first swarm. They'll think that you're a new killer doing this and be like, why is this artist just setting up a random swarm head in a window? However, what they don't know is that's a bait, because once they grab it, instantly throw your second one and you will get an impact on it. Even the most experienced survivors can fall for something like this, and it's very exciting whenever this happens. And a lot of times this can actually change the outcome in certain situations. My fourth tip would be when you throw a swarm at a survivor and try to set up the following swarm to get an impact. Watch their pathing and where they're going. When a survivor is swarmed, you'll see the aura of the swarm until they hop into a locker, or whenever a survivor passes the 50% progress bar when removing the swarms. Weirdly enough, a good amount of survivors will go a singular path, which makes it easier to predict where they're going and set up the swarm in the right spot to get the impact. It's basically a whole calculations that where the survivor's going to go, most likely they're going to be here, and if you set it correctly, you will get the impact. However, some survivors will try to outjuke the follow-up swarm while in a chase, and it's a very common thing that happens, which in this case is where you can play the mental game of pitching them in an area to where you can either what's called shotgunning the follow-up swarms or possibly get the M1 hit. It differs considering what the situation is. My fifth and final tip would be to keep survivors on their tippy toes and throw swarms at the hook once a survivor gets unhooked. Even though it seems from the survivor's point of view that it's a very toxic thing to do. However, if every killer knows there's no such thing as a survivor rulebook that you have to follow, and just play the way you want to play. If they're going to complain about it, well, that's on them. So, there's a couple ways you can play with swarms whenever a survivor is unhooked. The first one is where you can do the delay tech mentioned in the first tip, where you set up the first swarm at a direction towards the hook. Then, when it gets to the side of the square, set up either one, or if you want to be silly, you could set up two. Once you hear the unhook notification, let them fly, and if done correctly can do lots of damage. Well, what happened is most likely if you just do 1 and 1, then the survivor unhooked, the endurance effect will go, and you might get a possibility if you do 2 instead of 1, like you set just 1, you set up 2, then you can actually hit both. But preferably, this is where my tech comes in. If you don't know, I have a series that I do called The Reasons Why You Don't Heal Under a Hook, which also in time has created a tech that I like to call the What Happened tech. Now, how this works is that instead of setting up the swarms before the unhooking, wait until they get unhooked. Then set up a swarm and throw it over there. Now, this is where you can get a little bit more information if they're under a hook or if they're going to separate and kind of see the reaction. If you look and see that they are healing under a hook, then while they are swarmed, set up 2 swarms right behind each other and then let them fly. What's going to happen is that the person that got unhooked is going to go down to the ground, and the person that did the unhooked is going to be damaged. And possibly if you angle the one behind the other swarm a little bit, then they can be swarmed again. However, in certain situations that I've had, if the survivor that did the unhooked is already hurt, then both go down. And there has been multiple situations to where I am chasing a survivor in a different chase, they go down, the survivor gets unhooked, and then next thing you know, set up the swarms, and it goes from 1 down to 3 down. And if you're that one survivor that's still up, and you see all this happening within seconds, I don't know about you, but I would be scared as hell because of all this happening so quick. What am I supposed to do? And I've seen these situations where survivors do panic, and then next thing you know, they get scared, they start panicking, and then you can just get all of them down, and the game is over. It is one of those ones I personally like because this style is more of a trolley, which is kind of like how I play personally, and I like it a lot. And I get multiple reactions like these.
How does that work? Uh-oh.
Nowhere to hide? No. She's still by me. She's going back to this.
Oh my god.
I don't know why I let you stick it. I just let you.
What the?
Caesar. SOS.
Okay. Oh my god, dude. I thought it was like a chill SOS, not like an SOS actual.
What?
What?
I
That
don't
was.
know why I let you stick it. I just let you.
What the? What, man?
SOS.
Okay. I'll go there. Oh my god, dude. I thought it was like a chill SOS, not like an SOS, actual SOS.
If you made it this far in the video, I want to thank you for watching, and thank you so much for your time. I hope you're able to use some of the tips that I added in the video. It definitely is very appreciative to see other bobs out there in the world who want to learn more about the artist and be able to become a better player. Because like I said, as someone who loves Bob a lot, I want to see her become even more popular and more people use her and play her so well. So, with that being said, I want to thank you for watching. Don't forget your tacos at the door, and I will see you in the next video. Adios!